In my last video, I spoke on the topic of passivity, and I highly encourage you to go back and watch that video actually, because it ties in very well with what we're going to be speaking about today. But today, I want to speak about the war that men are facing, and it extends obviously from being passive, but it's this seeking for comfort, and it's just wow, like our generation, right? And this is something you kind of see when you chat with just people of different walks of life and people who are in different generations, right? You just kind of see a mentality difference, right? Like, I mean, obviously this maybe isn't like the greatest example, but like um think about you speak like young men who are like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm really struggling to like get up and like find my purpose. It's like, dude, if you spoke to young men 100 years ago, they'd never tell you that. They'd be like, what do you mean? I've got a job to do, I've got to provide for my family, right? That kind of thing. And there's a whole lot of things within that, but the point I'm trying to make is that you can just see the difference in mentality between people. And a place that I have seen this actually was when I was at work, right? I'm doing my articles, and it's tough, it's demanding, and it's not a great job. Like audit, I remember speaking with a friend who's actually finished his articles journey and is a CA and everything, and he was saying audit is a dark place, and actually as Christians, we're placed there to be the light. But anyways, we were asking like our managers, right, they're like 10 years older than us, right? It's a different generation. Like, do you like this job? And their reaction is kind of just like, what do you mean do I like this job? It's a job. And it's like, our mentality is so different, right? And for me, I'm like, it really shows, where our mindsets are at. And it's encouraging, I think, so if you're somebody who actually wants to have like that kind of mentality, and I'm not speaking about the job thing, I'm just speaking in general, right? The mentality of not trying to chase after comfort, right? But the kicker here that I'm trying to get to, I'm taking my time, is that we seek comfort, and comfort is not something we're supposed to seek. I mean, honestly, I spoke about passivity in the last video. It comes from this seeking of comfort. It's like, I remember watching this video about work, right, and how our toil is something, it's a gift from God. I remember reading Ecclesiastes, I think it was Ecclesiastes 3, and Solomon is like, I perceived that there was nothing left for man to do under the sun than to enjoy his toil, as it is his gift from God. I'm like, what? Work is a gift from God? And I mean, you go back to Genesis, and it's like the idea of work, right? Like, work was there before the fall, right? But what changed after the fall was that work was now going to become tedious. It was going to become something difficult to do, right? Whereas before it was meant to be something we enjoy. But ultimately, work was always a part of God's design. In heaven, we're going to be working, which is something I had to think about. Because in my head, I was like, oh, in heaven, I remember there's a song called Shall Not Want, which is based on Psalm 23. And, it's like, I will take my rest. I'm like, dude, I picture being in heaven being like, oh, I'm going to take my rest. And we will take our rest, but it's like, we'll also work. And it's kind of difficult for us to think about, because we see work as like this negative thing, this thing to run away from. But this video I was watching where they were speaking about God's design for man and for work was that rest is not something we don't work to rest. We rest so we can work. Like, work is, that's what we spend most of our lives doing, right? And it's very tragic if we spend, 60 years of our lives, dying for Friday, living for Fridays. Like, dude, I don't get it. Living for the weekend and then dying for Fridays. Let me not say I don't get it, because I am very much in it right now. I'm like, dude, I just can't wait for the workday to finish. But that's not the design. We can't live life like that forever. Like, that's not living life. It's not only because you spend so much of your time working, like you literally spend 5 days out of 7 every single week, basically, for all these years, right, working. Not only because of that, but also, like, work is actually supposed to be something we use to glorify God. It's something we're supposed to like look forward to. It's something we're supposed to have a mission. And it's something Matt Chandler said. I remember he was like, as Christians, we should wake up so excited, right, to attack the day, and fulfill God's calling in our lives, right? And we should go to sleep wrung out because we've given everything. I like to think of an athlete, at the end of a game who just collapses, because they've given everything. They've left everything on that pitch, right? It's supposed to be something similar. We wake up and we go to war. We're supposed to go to sleep exhausted, Matt Chandler was saying, because, there's so much to do. There's so much to do for God's kingdom, right? Rest is simply meant to be for us to recover from work so we can work again. And it sounds depressing when you think of the way work is set out nowadays, but ideally, work is supposed to be something we're supposed to be. I said it's supposed to be twice. Work is supposed to be something that we actually like look forward to. I always like envy. Maybe envy isn't the right word. But I always look at like managers, right? Managers of like football teams or like people who just work on like a project. I'm like, that's so cool. I want to do that, right? Somebody who like you see what like Premier League managers, right? Like they'll come in. I remember seeing like Jurgen Klopp, Frank Lampard for Chelsea, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for Man United. Like when they first came in, their hair was like it was normal. Then like literally 2 years later, gray everywhere. They look aged because of all the stress, right? And obviously stress isn't a great thing, right? But you picture those types of people, right? And it's like, this is a job they're so grateful to have. It's very intense, right? But you know, it's something they're waking up every day and they're like, damn, I can't, like, there's so much work to do. I can't wait to like do this. This is exciting. And somebody who has a project is like, okay, I've got this team. I need to rebuild. I need to go do this, and I'm so excited, right? And it's like, you can imagine just like the fulfillment they get when that project really like comes together, because it's like, dude, it's not just something that you kind of just chuck together and it's like, oh, it's working. It's like, no, they've spent like countless hours on this, dude. And now they see it, it's like, finally it's working. It's like, dude, you'd be so stoked. And it's like, that's how our lives are supposed to be. We're supposed to be building stuff, right? We're supposed to be working on our missions, and it's supposed to be, it's hard, it's going to be hard work, but it's supposed to be something we look back and it's like, oh wow, this is exciting, like I'm working on something, right? And it's like this thing we have where this pursuit of comfort is just killing us. It takes me back to the thing of passivity, right? It's like, it's just poisoning every part of our lives, because all we do is search for comfort rather than searching for that fulfillment or searching for what God is calling us to, right? And the mindset is just so different. And I'd love us as young men to really change our mindsets around this, right? To be like, let's become the man God has called us to be, right? Go out there. We have all this time, and it's not a lot of time on this planet. The Bible speaks about, men like we're here 1 second, gone the next, right? It's like we were never even there, right? That's how short our time on this planet is. But God has blessed us with this, right? He's blessed us with an opportunity here to really go out there and pursue the calling He has put on our lives. And I think this pursuit for comfort is just killing us, and it's a massive war. I mean, this phone, like this thing, right? I saw this quote which sticks with me. It was that your phone is a tool, but if you treat it like a toy, it'll treat you like a joke. And it was something I was like, whoa, right? And it's true. Like this phone, it can be so useful. I'm thinking about all the things you can do with this. So you can communicate very easily. You can create YouTube videos if you want. You can learn so much. I don't know how much stuff I've learned on YouTube. Like just learning. A lot of the things I've learned have been from even my Bible, like my walk with God, right? Obviously I read my Bible, but like I read my Bible and then I go and I watch an online sermon on it. I'm learning things this way. Theology. I'm not going out there and reading the original Greek and Hebrew. I'm watching like Mike Winger videos, or all these things about these different types of like theological beliefs and stuff. It's like I'm learning all this stuff online. It's a tool that can be used very, very well. But I certainly have. I've seen the other side where I'm on TikTok and I'm scrolling for like 2-3 hours. I'm supposed to have gone to sleep at like 9 and it's like 12 and I'm still on TikTok and I can't stop scrolling. And I couldn't tell you the third video I watched, the third last video I watched, I couldn't tell you what it was, right? I couldn't tell you what it was because it's just mind numbing. And it will treat you like a joke if you treat it like a toy. And it's like, just that. We chase comfort and we try to find comfort on this thing, and it's just killing us, right? Not waking up early when you should be waking up early to attack the day, like that's chasing comfort. This thing of like comfort and pleasure is like my highest goal. It's just unbiblical, right? As men, we're called to steward the gifts God has given us, right? We're called to go out there and attack. We're called to deny ourselves, take up our cross, die to ourselves, right? That's what we're called to do. And chasing comfort has nothing to do with that. And I think that is a big war that our young men are facing nowadays, and we've got a massive job on our hands. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think of the topic. Make sure you hit subscribe to Disciples on Mission, to make sure you join the community. And until next time, see you guys.